Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Kickback, where I am joined by my co-host, MK Sammy.
Hello, people. And today we're having our first guest episode with.
Merlz. Hi. Y'all got some honey for me?
Yeah, we got the big honey. Do you want to save on some deals?
Oh my god.
But yeah.
Okay. We're literally not even 1 minute in. I'm already regretting this. Anyways, hi. I'm Merlz. I do DJ things in the scene, and I've been invited by these beautiful people to get bombarded with questions. I'm sure they'll be life changing.
We're gonna have you thinking about your entire life. It's gonna be great. But yeah, welcome, Merlz. You are the first of hopefully many guests that we will have on this podcast. Yes. We actually were talking about on the second episode. It was like, oh, it would be cool to have Merlz on. He probably has a lot to talk about.
If I think about one person that has a lot to talk about in VR chat, I think of
yeah,
you, honestly.
That's so like yeah. If you think I've got a lot to talk about, all I'm saying is there's a few people that I got in contact with in this game that could tell me all about the origin stories. Just recently, I had a long ass talk with Jesse Senpai. For anybody that isn't familiar, that's the creator of VR CDN, or at least one of them. And she's been around since I don't know, 2017. Correct me if I'm wrong. It could be even earlier than that. And she's seen the literal inception of the club scene. And nowadays she's sort of powering it, considering how she's running the CDN behind it. And wow, the stories she could tell me. She brought me into worlds, showing me old photos and stuff. And I was just like, wow. I was just blown away because I for context, I only really started getting in here in 2020.
Same.
Really?
So yeah, it's I haven't really when it comes to some people that I know on here, I really haven't been on for that long.
Wow.
I'm quite the youngster. Hey kids.
Hey, kids.
Dude, that's
crazy.
I mean,
you've been here since 2017 too, right?
Yeah, I've been here since 2016, and then I made my account in 2017.
Right.
Yeah. So I've been here for fucking ages. It's crazy seeing the metas of this game and the different pipelines that have come out of it. Yeah, no, old worlds. I mean, old club worlds, dude. Nothing like they are today. Fucking crazy.
It's cute to see where the clubs were coming from.
Exactly.
Kind of when
yeah.
you go to all the clubs.
Yeah, humble beginnings and things like that. Yeah. Speaking of clubs, couple cool events that happened past couple days. Did you go anywhere fun? See anything? Any events you want to talk about?
There's some cool stuff going on, but oh shit, I think that one was directed towards Sammy. No, you go first.
No, both of you.
No, that gives me time to actually reconsider.
Okay, you want to reconsider? Okay.
Okay.
So I the last gig I played was still just Party, I think, which I talked about on the last podcast as well. Oh no, actually no, I played at the I played a funny pop up at the kebab store.
The kebab shop. Yes.
That was so stupid and so fun because it was organized by Cutie Gang, which is DJ collective Discord server, and many of the people that played there, it was their first time DJing, or at least one of their first times.
Yeah.
It was Goldman's second set ever.
Oh,
it was
Goldman?
Goldman's first set. Yeah, he played some banging hard techno. Yeah, but other than that, I wasn't active last weekend. Yeah. Next weekend's gonna be a long one, but
oh yeah, we'll talk about that later. Yeah.
What about you?
Oh, they're speaking. All right. Yeah, no. I've been to a few places. Of course, there's the few places that I've been playing my own set, but also the ones that I just happened to stumble upon. Right. The year already started off pretty sick with one of my friends playing at Sanctum Alta. Shout out to Freeman on that one.
Oh,
and
hell yeah.
Sanctum is an absolute quality venue. Pretty much if you just look at the videos, or if you ever step in there, it's just the quality radiates at you. The whole map is just so incredibly fancy. I think for the longest part it was also cross compatible. I think ever since they switched to Alta it isn't anymore.
Really?
But
really?
Yeah. And my very first event ever was a Sanctum event, which is something I guess I can get to later.
Yeah.
you know, fingers crossed I don't forget about it. But okay, so yeah, I've been to that event, but then also like a bunch of other clubs. I've been, I started the year off by going to like, by playing at Fishbowl, playing at the Dark Sides, or like Club Reality, for Foxes, Black Market. Those are all some really nice communities. Shout out to those ones. And then recently Soxy launched his own thing called Pipelines, in which he showcases the newest and like most upcoming DJs. Like some people that may have just never performed. It's awesome. It's such a wonderful concept.
It really is, dude.
Also, like, shout out to the organizers on that one as well. They've done a really cool job. Yeah, I guess that was the start of my year just as much as Crescendo. You guys have talked about it pretty extensively in the last episode. I did my homework. I actually listened to it.
Well, do you have anything to add as like staff for that?
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. So you can just go to mention, right? So, I just recently built a new PC. Like it's a mini ITX form factor, so it's like really kind of small, about the size of a PlayStation 5, maybe. I don't know. I use my old 1070 in there. So that's like a second rig for me now, and I mainly built this one to take it with me all the way over to Meddler's place, because somewhere in the middle of December we had a little IRL back set going on, which was like probably one of my highlights of last year, just casually. But that thing, by the way, was absolutely super heavyweight. Like dragging this one all the way through those 4 hours of train riding all the way to Meddler's was kind of rough. Like it was, I don't know how heavy that thing actually is. I should probably weigh it, but it feels like I don't know, like an easy 15 or so kilograms. I don't know. It's pretty heavy. And then I of course I took that whole thing with me. And also over Christmas I went to my parents' place. I took that PC with me, of course, to just sit down, play some games together with my older brother, to just go through some old games, relive some nostalgia. But also I used that opportunity to fulfill my workaholic kind of needs. And I worked a lot on Crescendo while I was at my parents' place, where I was just like supposed to like enjoy the holidays and do nothing else. No, I've worked a little bit too much on this. I think you guys mentioned all the pre-production stuff, intros, all these intros and stuff. Basically, I've done all of those at my parents' place, just like in the days leading up to the event, when I was actually really not supposed to work on that. But it was a bunch of fun. I working on this was pretty rough. We had a few months of preparation going. Initially we wanted to settle for something way less how do you say, way less
extravagant,
ambitious. That's the one. And then suddenly we had these ideas like, hey, why don't we do this, why don't we do that? We have all of those resources, we're 3 clubs coming together. Why aren't we putting it to use if we're already taking our time out of the day and doing things on New Year's Eve? So the team pulled off like incredible work. Dr. No built like a really, really cool map. We all worked on keeping the streams going, like operating the Twitch and the in-venue stream, and all the pre-production and everything. It was a lot of work, but in the end it all paid off. We had a really, really great night.
It was great.
So I guess that's all I got to add to that. The team I'm very proud of for pulling off something this cool. And I'd love to work with them again and do something like that again.
Let's go.
Can't promise anything. But
next year? No.
I will neither confirm nor deny that.
Yes. But what that answer like showed is that like you do a fuck ton of stuff in this game, like a shit ton of different stuff. Like you're a DJ, you're a club owner, you do artist relation. So like when someone like asks you what you do in VR chat, like what do you answer first? Like what do you begin with? How would you describe like what you do?
I'm a degenerate.
Oh, that's that's very relatable.
yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Well, it usually goes towards the DJ side of things. You know, I'm a bit of a DJ.
A bit.
Yeah, but then I don't know. I just involve myself with the community a bunch. You know, as you mentioned, I have founded this place like a club called Hive Mind, and then there's another one that I more or less inherited that's called Subsystem, which hosts Hardbooks and Server Room, and I also help run those. But yeah, in both of those cases, I'm also just more or less a team member, and a lot of people are putting in effort to make these run. But I'm one of them. Yeah, besides that, honestly, I just really like going to raves, and I think part of the reason I involve myself with, you know, a little project here, another one there, and all that stuff is really just because I really enjoy going here, and I want to spread that sort of feeling that I had when I discovered this place, and that I still have to this day, which is just, you know, go to a place, be blown away by a cool thing. Like,
Oh yeah.
Have you all gone to places like Slyfest, Ghost Club, Shelter,
Yeah.
and Sanctum before? You'll know what I'm talking about. It's just like you see this thing and you're like, how the fuck did they pull this off? Or if you even have like remotely a bit of an idea, you're like, holy shit, they actually pulled this off. You know, it's just incredible. And being a part of something like that is just a cool thing to do. And yeah, no, that's I guess that's why I involve myself so much with it. Or
Yeah.
basically, that's what I do in the first place.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think like we as well, right? Like we do this to kind of push the scene a little bit as well, right? To
Yeah, like
keep it rolling.
we wanna see it keep growing, keep fucking adapting, and just keep thriving. I mean, we do this because we enjoy it. Not just this podcast, but DJing, you know, making edits and just doing music is because we love it, and you know, it makes us happy. So why not contribute to what we love, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I think both of us, like you and me, Noko, we also like had some experience in like event scheduling, right? Like,
Yes.
You did with you did a few Base Legion based events, right?
Mhm. Yeah, Base Legion and the sewer, actually, back when I used to staff
Right, you
there.
did that back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Oh, how did you end up doing that? How did you end up doing like organizational work, right? Because nowadays you're more of a DJ mostly, right? How
Yeah.
did that happen?
Me or Noko?
Well, I'll go.
No,
I'll go
both of
first
y'all,
if you want.
actually.
If you want to go
That's
after me.
cool. You go
so
first, Noko.
I'll ask Nook first, yeah.
I just enjoyed the sewer, and then my buddy at the time, Adam, he hit me up and he was like, "Yo, what if we did our own event? Because like you and I both like Frenchcore and hardcore. Let's do like our own event." And so we just kind of talked about it and worked it out, and we came up with the concept of I think it was like Manslaughter Monday.
Yeah.
And yeah. And
I played there, I think.
yeah, you did.
That's
you did.
a wonderful name.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be like, oh, it's all hard and it's all hard music. And then I just kind of enjoyed hosting the event because, you know, coming into the EU scene as someone from NA, I literally started at like ground zero. You know, I had like no friends. And so I was like, well, I mean, I can make my mark somehow, even if it's small. So it was like, let's host a school event. So that's kind of like how I got into hosting events for a little bit at the sewer, and then I got staff there. It's pretty simple.
It's if you know the right people, it's not that hard to like build up your own events, and like, in general, it's not hard to build up your own events. If you want to do that, like just hit some DJs up and ask if they want to do something together with you, maybe the VJ, and then gonna be fun. Yeah, for me personally, I started doing events like way back, or like quote unquote events. I used to make back in the day in 2020. I used to make mixes inside of FL Studio, upload those on YouTube, and then go into an Orion lobby, plop it in there. So I guess that was the first kind of event experience I had. Then at some point in 2022, I partnered up with a club that's now not really running that many events anymore, and that I eventually also distanced myself from, like in good spirit. And then I came over to the sewer because the sewer actually looked for event organizers, and I know Corica a little bit. And I was like, yo, can I hit something up here? I kind of want a new space to host events. Then I hosted Freaky Friday for like, I think 5 or 6 months or something.
It was a while. I remember.
I did it for a
ran
while,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
I remember that time.
Yeah.
It was a really good time. That was back in school. I still had free time. That was nice. Yeah, but then I eventually stopped doing it just because I didn't feel like I pushed the boundaries as much as I wanted to, and I didn't have the time to do that anyways. So, but soon there's probably gonna be something again, right? No, cool.
Maybe,
wink, wink.
maybe not.
Wink, wink. Yeah, so I basically also really enjoyed like hosting in general. Like I'm at this one venue for like 6 hours or something.
Yeah,
I
that's
really like
what I
long
love.
events.
Exactly. That's what I loved about hosting too, is that it was like I didn't come for 1 hour and then just leave. Which you could just stay for
Yeah,
the
you
whole
can
event and
do that
DJ,
as well.
but like you're forced to be there, and it's nice because it's like you get to also talk with people while listening to the music you like. That's what I liked, is being like, oh hey, look who it is. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
It was nice. Yeah.
Which is
No,
kind of.
I actually. Oh no, you go first.
I just wanted to add on this like real quick because you also not only do hosting, you also do like artist relationship. And
yeah, you can call it that. In fact,
Yeah.
that was my title for a while.
Oh.
I mean, the background story of that already kind of is. Oh wait, before I actually get into that, I just want to say, sometimes I feel like it's really nice to just not only show up for your gig. In fact, I feel a bit like I feel a bit weird when I do that.
Yeah,
I expect
yeah.
people to listen to my stuff and then I just don't give it back. That's one of those
Yeah.
reasons I kind of go and see other people anyways. I mean, it's a bit of a win-win-win situation anyways. I enjoy going to raves, but then also I need to find new people for those raves that I personally organize. And also I'm giving back to people what I wouldn't say expect of them, but what they give to me, right? So
Exactly,
it's it's some, I don't know, I feel kind of obligated, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, about the artist relation thing. So how that happened, right? I think I gotta do a bit of a history lesson right here, and how,
Let's
like I
go.
gotta reach far out, right? So I'll go about this chronologically. So in 2010, some person out there
we're
uploaded
going
this.
way back.
Yeah, some person uploaded this thing called like this YouTube video that went semi-viral, I would say, called DEFCON 1 Uganda 2010 after movie.
Oh my god.
Someone watching this may have seen it. I don't know. All I'm saying is, young Merlz saw this, thought it was very funny for some whatever immature reason, and yeah, and then 2013 came along. I was experimenting with video editing. I still had this thing like that video back in my head, and I was like, let me give this a shot. Let me try and make my own DEFCON 1 Uganda official after movie, which I did. Which if y'all ever heard of the name Frontliner, he actually ended up reposting this on his Facebook page.
Oh, really?
Like
Really?
actually like downloading and uploading it. I slid into his DMs. He may have replied because at the time the DJ Mag votes were still going, but I was like, hey man, like I used your song. I'm glad you appreciate it and you just didn't just take it down. And he was like, no, it's totally cool with me. I'm not sure if that was like a popularity thing or something, but I don't know. He apparently he uploaded it again. Probably also got a bunch of likes out of it. I will say it aged very poorly considering all of this, but that's not even where the story ends. A year later, I continued the story by basically starting to do URL events. I think that's what it's called. I only learned about that term like, I don't know, like a few months ago. But that's basically what I did years ago. When you would set up a website and just pretend like there's an like an actual thing happening, or maybe you didn't even pretend, you just straight up said, hey, here's like an internet event thing. But my whole thing was also calling it DEFCON 1 Uganda and then pretending like it's a real thing. Back then when Qdance actually used to use their Qdance radio station to to broadcast their events. I don't know. Like some of y'all might still remember. Apparently, they don't do it anymore.
No, they don't do that anymore. They do it over their website now.
Yeah, like I guess maybe that's for better experience, but I wouldn't know. I haven't used it in a while. But back then they used to use Qdance Radio to just broadcast their events, in a very simple way. And I basically recreated that same feeling. I added like crowd noises, compressed the whole sound a little bit, moderated over, on top of it. And then I just asked a bunch of DJ and producer friends, which, back then I was a bit of a hardstyle producer. And DJ, and so I asked them. We all got together. We recorded our sets. We set up this website with a little chat box. We would pretend like this is an actual thing. It looked like an actual radio station, like the website, and it would all be like this whole big game of playing pretend and everyone doing their part. I would be like the main organizer, the main person doing all the graphics, setting up the thing, and I don't know. Then we'd have like, I don't know, an easy 9 or 10 hours of sets, each going like 30 to 45 minutes. So there was a bunch of DJs involved. It's actually kind of wild. And that's how I still know some of them that are active to this day. That's how I kind of got to know them back then. Yeah, and so basically this whole artist relation thing and organizing thing has been like, especially in like the cyberspace, can you say that? Has been kind of a thing for a while. I will say, my God, such a childish thing. DEF CON on Uganda, Merlz, really? But oh God, okay, yeah. Anyways, I'm just distancing myself from the past, Merlz. Just saying, right?
It's the perfect 2010 humor, though. I feel like I think that's
there's a bit of history context in there. I wouldn't do that like that anymore nowadays.
Yeah, but
it's back then that was all the rage. It was very, very funny and yeah, I don't know. It would also actually put like a bunch of listeners and artists in there as well. We like I said, there were like an easy like 12 to 15 artists involved every time, and we'd reach like a peak of somewhere in between like 50 listeners at the same time or something. Like usually we hover around the 30 or 40 people mark, but considering that was just the most random ass website just shared by friends.
Yeah, it's pretty
friends
cool.
Of friends. It was kind of a fun thing. And then fast forward to 2022, I just started DJing in VR chat. Consider that this was like a few years after the last event that I did. At some point, I even rebranded it. Like during the Corona pandemic, that thing was called InFact, based on the Impact Festival, like Qdance.
With a Q, Fact.
Yeah. It would also like use all the branding. What we would always do was like ripping off all the branding from Qdance and just making it look like an actual Qdance event when it wasn't. I'm not sure. Maybe I can still find some screenshots of that and then send them to you all. But
Funny.
Okay, yeah, but like years later down the line, basically that's 2022, I started VR DJing, blah blah, and that was around the time I also got to meet you, right? I'm pretty sure we got to know each other before I even really did Hive Mind. Then you were there for the first Hive Mind edition. Oh shit, I should probably also explain that. Hive Mind is one of those events that I run. Yeah, exactly. I did an edition 0 of Hive Mind, which is really just me doing a little test run of, oh hey, can I actually like organize an event in VR chat? Is this something I can do, right? And then turned out to be okay, and I was having fun. So I guess an edition 1 would follow. I open up a Discord and all that stuff, and the rest is history, as the people would say, right? But that's not even where it stopped. I mean, Hive Mind, that's one thing. But that's basically where I got a bunch of VR chat organizer, like rave organizer experience, and it was fun and all. But I was also a DJ myself, and I was also looking for places to play at, and I wanted to, I was super duper ambitious. Hey, I want to play this place, and I want to get really good, and I want to play this place, and then, always with that thought of, but I gotta be good enough for it, right? It's kind of wild. I didn't even, I knew Vanguard was a thing for a while. I didn't even apply until like 2 or 3 months down the line when I felt like I had reached some sort of experience.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I would just always play Public Orion together with my friend Sergeant Freeman. The first gig I ever played, in fact, was just like a Public Orion I opened up. And it was just like, 2 people hanging out for a little bit, and then like after about an hour, suddenly there was like an influx of people, and they would all join, and then I played a 5-hour set. To this day, that's the longest set
nice.
I ever played.
Wow.
And I got, I had a little bit too much of that spicy water. So at the very end of that set, I would just crawl all across
Hang
the
in
floor,
there.
go
Hanging
visit
over
my
the
friends in
dinner.
the other worlds, not being able to like stand out, and just wanting to hug everyone, telling them all about how cool that it was that I just DJ'd for people and VR. Like, oh guys, I just played this. That was so cool. And yeah, but yeah, okay. So long story short, I was DJing for a bit. I had this whole hype man thing going, and at some point, I find out, because back then I was very hardstyle focused. Nowadays I'm very, very multi-genre. At least I would say so. And I was looking for a place to play hardstyle at, and so somebody taught me about Hardbox. Like,
Oh boy.
What's a hardbox? Alright, that sounds interesting. That sounds just like what I'm looking for. So I look around, and at first I couldn't find the server. Some of those old links were dead. But then I somehow miraculously found a link to a server called Subsystem Virtual Events. I was like, alright, I guess that's the one. They were like, yeah, we rebranded, we got a new concept going on, but we are the organizers of Hardbox. And who knows, maybe other things, who knows. But at that moment, it was just kind of like they were keeping it a bit of a mystery, and I was like, oh, hey, that's so cool. I want to, I'm kind of a hardstyle DJ myself. I joined the Discord, go to the general channel. If you look it up nowadays, I think it's still in there somewhere. Just, hey, that's so cool. Like, I'm a bit of a DJ / producer myself, don't want to be that guy though. I kind of want to attend first and see how it goes, but like, maybe I'll apply later down the line too. And then they were like, yeah, no, sure thing. Come by for the next Hardbox. So I tried to be patient and everything, and then these guys just like a few days later would suddenly unleash server room onto the European VR chat rave scene.
Yeah.
I tried to join that place with my back then FX 8320 and 1070.
Oh
And
boy.
Not
that
possible.
was not 1070, right? Yeah, it was rough. My at this point 10-year-old AMD CPU, which that architecture in particular was not well made for games. I would join. It's an 80 people lobby. It's a pretty demanding map at the time, like, because it's an ambitious one, and I'm getting into my knees. I'm not measuring my frames in FPS. They're going in SPF. It was that bad. And then I had to leave. But what I saw impressed me so much. Like, they had these custom light shows going. The whole map was so quality. The DJs were so good, and like everyone was just gravitating towards that venue because like, what server room would happen? What's this place? Where did that come from? And then it turns out that's the Subsystem Discord that I just joined, right?
Yeah.
I was completely blown away, and I couldn't even wait. I already told the back then owner that, hey, I wanted to wait initially, but then I saw server room. And considering that you guys have a hard event going, I don't think I have to even wait for this. Can I please play at Hardbox? And he's like, oh, sounds interesting. Can you send me like a mix? That was before even like just a few days before they even launched the ticket system, right? So I would just message you and be like, hey, it's okay. I guess here's a mix of mine. Do you think that's interesting? And that was like when I just started getting into multi-genre stuff, like just barely. And I sent him one of those mixes. He listened to like the first little, like those first 15 minutes, I suppose, because that was kind of house-ish, techno-ish, slowly getting into like bassline. And he was like, "Oh yeah, that's a great for server room. I'll give you the server room role." And I'm like freaking out. I'm like, "What?
So
I'm
you
playing for
wanted to
server room
play at
2 now?
Hardbox.
All right." And then I'm like, "Hey, no, skip a little further into the mix. You gotta like it really doesn't stay there." And he's like, "Oh, all right." And then he goes into it and it's like, "Oh yeah, you're slowly getting into like the hard style and hardcore territory. Okay, no, like okay, you know what? I'll just give you both, I guess."
Sweet.
Yeah, so that's how I started DJing there, and then another few days later, they would do a little ping, saying, "Hey, we're looking for people doing artist relation." Like that was just one of those roles, and I was like, "Artist relation? If that's what I think it is, that sounds interesting." And I haven't really seen other venues do that. And then I kind of explained a bit of that history I explained earlier to the owner, and he was like, "Yeah, we can give it a trial. I'll put you on a trial period. How about that? I'll ask the team." And then Me being the nosy little guy that I am, I got invited to the internal Discord for that trial period. Then I scroll up a little bit, and he's all like, "Hey, so Merlz wants to join the team for artist relation. How about we all give it a shot?" And everyone's just like, "Yeah, I guess we can do that. Yeah,
I
see how it
guess.
goes."
I guess.
And yeah, then but that's how it started. At some point, they were okay with the work that I was doing in the beginning. That was just checking in on applications, which was really just like people opening up a ticket to showcase their mixes and explain what they want to do. And then I would go through these tickets and say, "Hey, I think your mix is like is what we're looking for, or like that's good enough for us." We'll give you the DJ role. You'll get access to our Excel spreadsheet, and you can just book yourself. Like I said, we're doing that for you. So basically, it was just this open spreadsheet system.
Yeah.
People booked themselves for the venues, and they were just banging on like self-regulation. But somebody at least had to check in on those DJs meeting a certain threshold of quality, since it's a whole ass team working on like the venue and everything on the show. So that was the whole idea. And then that's how I ended up with the so-called artist relation role, which was really just that: look for DJs, check in on applications, and make sure that there's enough. Could you call it cannon fodder? I don't know.
I guess you could. Enough working material.
Yeah. Okay, that was a long ass ramble. Like, okay, I told you this wasn't gonna be a short story, but hey, here we are. That's how I ended up as an artist relation. And then there's like a whole another story how I started, how we started doing curation, how I kind of wanted, to ditch the spreadsheet, how it took a little bit of internal debating and everything, and then we actually ended up doing it and going full curation mode. Just we still have the ticket system because we don't want to end up being in our little echo chamber. We still want to make sure that we're not missing out on talents that
like
people from the artist relation team, that we don't miss out on them, right? So that's still a thing, but nowadays we're making very sure that the show has a bit of a structure, and then the music is kind of going in a certain direction, and that it all fits together. We feel like that is a win-win-win kind of for artists and ourselves as well, because the artists shine in like the brightest way since they're put into like a certain context, into a certain flow, which helps people helps people get eased into the music. And we of course we also enjoy it more because people aren't just randomly leaving because somebody played up tempo and the next person just randomly drops in and plays hard techno or something.
Yeah. That is. Yeah, that's a problem you do see in a lot of places. Is like one person. One person will play house and the next person will play like fucking heavy DMB. It's not just hard bands.
I have a gig this weekend. I'm kind of scared of because I got booked into a birthday event because the person that has the birthday party I kind of know them a little bit. We hang out sometimes, and they're like a big drum and bass set, and so they have a club, and some of their friends like build up a birthday party, and they got me on there because they know that he also likes hardstyle, and they think, Sammy's playing the hardstyle. The problem is now that I play in the middle of a drum and bass based lineup.
Yeah.
And like,
So Sammy, have you ever heard of our Lord and Savior Crossbreed?
Yes, Crossbreed.
Yeah, but like, I know the guy likes my music. The birthday guy, he likes my music. I know that, but
but honestly, in that case, people aren't showing up for like a show and for this is gonna be this super duper extra quality form. Even no, that's a birthday party. Everyone knows people show up for the birthday person and just to have a casually good time. I don't think that's bad.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
That's true. Yeah.
The Crossbreed is very
as much as I'm an advocate for please ditch the Excel spreadsheet or whatever, and please curate your lineups. Make sure you have a bit of a thing going on that's not just randomly booking people for the name or just because they're friends with you or whatever. As much as I'm an advocate for this, you don't have to shove it into every single place. That's just as ridiculous, I think.
It very much depends on the club, I think.
Yeah, Subsystem, for example, like Hotbox and Subroom are places that really needed curation. I cannot stress this enough. I was getting furious. I'm not even gonna lie internally about how we just let things happen. Like especially at Subroom, there was this one time. Best case, of course I was involved, and I was kind of like, it's not like a thing like, oh, I'm just pissed because people left at my set. No, people actually showed up to my set and they were all cool and stuff. Like I played the set that started with like tech house, funk house, slowly drifting into UKG, and then picking up steam, going to bassline and speed house, and then ending it on like one last hard stylish kind of track, which the crowd really liked. And then there's this next DJ, and they played such a good progressive house set. Like it was a vibe. But people weren't catching on because they just got hit with some nasty bass lines from my set. And so they were just the lobby just more or less halved itself. It went from like 80 people to like 50 something. And I felt so bad for the guy. I think they're 40s actually, even, right? Like it was 48 or something. I was like, no, that really this is what we're letting happen by all, like after all this work that we're putting in with all like the light shows and stuff, the internal VJing, the Twitch stream, the mapping and everything, like and then this is what like really, right? I don't know. I was I really didn't want to let that stand. So I think curation has been a bit of a success story for Subsystem ever since.
Definitely.
I've actually gotten some, and that actually really I appreciate it really hard. Some people that I've never spoken to, so I couldn't just randomly tell them all about how I think that's the better way to go about it. Some people will just randomly tell me or tell other team members, hey, I like how at several more, like specifically Hotbox, the music always follows this certain pattern and it builds up and it's got a bit of a thing behind it. You kind of know what to expect, at least to a certain degree, but it's always interesting. Basically describing curation and saying they like it. The fact that people, I always think it's a subconscious thing that makes a huge difference, but the fact that some people even consciously recognize it is one of the greatest compliments I feel like I can receive and have received in VR chat. So yeah, great success story for Subsystem. Probably not for some random's birthday party though. Don't feel obligated.
When I do get booked, I usually get booked for like the last slot if I'm not like playing at like a hardcore party. And also when I book myself, because most clubs the reality just is that you still book yourself. And when I do that, I kind of try to fit somewhere to the last ladder slots. But it also depends on the place. Like for example, I have a set at Territorium coming up. And at Territorium, I usually don't put myself as last because there's people playing speedcore. And like, as much as I play hard music, I'm not a speedcore, terrorcore kind of guy, right? Not that I don't like it, but I don't play it because I just enjoy raw style way more. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure you do kind of the same, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like to play the stuff that I like to play. So like lately it's been that people know me for like Frenchcore and stuff, and I love Frenchcore, and so that's what I've been playing. Although I do play speedcore, but I don't really dip into that sort of like last slot extreme super heavy kind of like vibrating your skull kind of extra tone that some people do.
I mean, yeah.
No, it's not that end is not really my thing. I'm definitely more of a melodic and euphoric kind of guy when it comes to hard style, hard dance in general, actually, or Frenchcore especially.
Oh, don't get me started.
I mean, yeah, I guess I'm kind of like the middle ground. I tend to play not many melodic tracks, but in my free time I do listen to a lot of melodic hard dance. But I feel like when I play live, at least for me personally, I just love seeing people like jaws drop, like whoa, what the fuck is he doing now?
Yeah,
it's like, I don't know, it's fun for me, and occasionally I drop a nice melody in there. Like I feel like my set at Just Party last time was really a nice mixture, because I started out really hard, really like underground raw style, and then I slowly got into the melodic part of raw style, and with that I mean like ruler, sig mode, like people that still employ some kind of melody in their tracks, even though they have the
Yeah.
signature raw style kicks. So yeah, I guess I'm very middle ground on that. But
It's good to have like little bits of it in here and there, because definitely I did not used to play a lot of euphoric stuff. I like to just kind of play like more of the underground, like really hard Frenchcore or like really hardcore. I mean, there is like mainstream like Warface or Defense, like really hardcore, but I don't know. I feel like having a good mix of both, like having some melodic and then catching people off guard with something really hard, can go really well, or vice versa. And it just makes that little extra bit of uniqueness to the set, which is something that I find.
Oh yeah, variety within sets or variety sets as a whole. Yeah, no, I very much agree. Like, I mean, for anybody that hasn't really seen me play yet, I don't think I can go a single set without dropping like 5 or 6 different genres. It's just, or at least subgenres of a genre. I don't know. I feel like playing like it's super valid to do that. I've seen some single genre sets that are my absolute favorites. Just personally, I get like really bored from just playing one thing for a while, and like for me, it's like the more things I can stuff in there that are different but still kind of become this thing that give you a bit of a silver lining, that you know it follows a certain thing. It doesn't feel like you're completely thrown out of it. That's what I like. If you're just keeping it intact, but you know it's really taking you on a journey. That's where it gets me. But it's also all the more difficult to improvise, I feel like. So I don't know. Occasionally, if you see me play like a euphoric hard style set, you know that I'm lazy that day, and then I'm just vibing with it. That's just as fun though. Like I recently discovered how much fun it is to like double mid intros and get some higher paced, like faster paced mixing in there as well.
Yeah.
It's actually it's wonderful. Yeah. I can totally agree. The more variety within a set, the better, really.
Speaking of like, I'll let you go after this. I want to say
actually one last thing. I actually have a quote. I really gotta shove this one in here. I'm so sorry, but there's a quote by, oh god, I hope I get it right. But basically, that one was from Porter Robinson. He was like at the Grammy Awards taking an award for his virtual self pseudonym, and which, by the way, I'm a huge fan of, actually. And he said something along the lines of, electronic music lives off tension and release. Like the contrast is what brings the energy or something. And I couldn't agree more with that, right? It's like you, without that contrast of like bringing it back down, bringing it back up, you know, if you just have the static thing going, that's pretty nice. If you just want like something in the background, you just want that like constant vibe. But if you want like that real climax, if you want to bring people like to this collective high point, I think bringing it down on purpose is very important. Like
yes,
yeah, tension and release. That's the quote. Tension and release is the name of the game. That's how he said it, and I think that's such a wonderful quote.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think especially with hard dance, because if you have, you know, one thing in my eyes, when it comes to hard style, hard dance, hardcore, whatever, any hard dance DJ, I hate seeing sets where it's just boom, 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 boom for like a fucking hour straight, because it's like, okay, I mean, that's cool, you mixed all the drops together, but it's like you gotta give people a break, people like emotionally and physically, because some people who are dancing and some people who are listening are connected with the music. It's just like, you know, you need to go down at some point besides just the end of your set, you know.
It also kind of, for me at least, depends on like when I'm at a festival, and the later it gets, of course the genres get harder. Hard style will go to raw style, then hardcore, blah blah blah, but also the mixing style will become rapidly different. I feel like I was at Nature One last year, for example, and there on the hardcore stage, Cryogenic was closing, and Cryogenic is a DJ that mixes drop to drop and occasionally gives the crowd some release, but usually mixes drop to drop to drop to drop. And I feel like that kind of mixing fits at the end of an event when the people really want to kind of end it off in a big bang kind of, but you can't do that for an entire event, I feel like.
Yeah.
So it really, that's also something that has to do with lineup curation, like the mixing style. It's not only the BPM, for me at least, it's like the mixing style as well. So yeah. But yeah, talking about like hardstyle and shit, because you also earlier talked a lot about Q-dance and all. What would you say are kind of your comfort hardstyle artists? Because like the podcast is a lot about hard dance and shit, and you've been in the game for ages compared to me and probably you as well. So like, who are some artists that you would say are like the
define comfort. Define comfort. Like, what do you mean? Is it like the thing that makes me like that actually makes me feel comfort, or the thing that I like playing that I always resort to?
So
like that. It's
like,
for you
I
personally,
guess,
let's say.
Yeah. I'd say I was gonna say just real quick, like for example, like you and I both love Cepha. Like you can listen to Cepha, you can play Cepha, and you can vibe out to Cepha and feel something. Like I'd say that is like a comfort artist for both of us. So something like that for you.
Oh, okay. I hate pointing towards one. So can I do multiple?
You can do multiple.
Of course.
Okay. I will name number one though. Number one, I will say Most Controllers. Right. That's that. I just recently also saw him play at Legacy, which is like a little hardstyle festival in Germany that embraces the older sounds, which just made me realize how much of a grandpa I am in the scene. But oh god, that was one of the, if not the most beautiful set I've ever been to. He's went through all the classics, all the kind of newest stuff from like from the like 2013 and 15 era, some stuff from like 28, 29, and but yeah. By the way, I've been listening to hardstyle. Like I started listening around 2009, 2010. Around crazy. 2010, I think, like around the New Year's mark, and that direction. Of course, I don't know the exact month or anything, right? It was a bit of a process too, right? I just slowly picked up on it by hearing it at friends' places. Back then, hell, there was this thing like, German YouTube poop had this thing where they would like remix this children's show called Caillou. One of my nowadays friends had one of the bigger channels doing this, and I somehow got into these circles. I somehow made friends with these people. They would often use hardstyle in their little outro tracks and their little things where they would say, "Hey, check out our channel" and whatnot. And that was actually one of the few gateways I saw.
You came to hardstyle through YouTube.
To come to hardstyle, yeah.
That's amazing.
It really actually is like it's wild.
That's
One
amazing.
of my friends back then, I messaged him. I was like, hey man, I love your videos, but also what are those tracks that are you using? Can you give me some IDs, man? That's fire. And back then, hardstyle had this like, dare I say, like dark clowns carnival type feeling, right? Like sinister type. It sounded a bit like more evil, deep, and pounding. It was a different type of thing. And from all the music that I was listening to back in the days, which was like a bit of like hands up and whatever, the German listeners will know what Techno Bass FM is, and then I slowly found out about the sister brother station, whatever, like the sister station Hard Bass FM, which would be more hard stylish. At the same time as that, at the same time as like one of my brother's friends listening to it a lot and me picking up on it. It was just like suddenly it was like around me. I was like, that's such an interesting sound. I gotta find out more about it. I got into Fusion Records, which back then was like a big deal until it wasn't. Like around 2013, just randomly poofed every artist left. And from what I heard, it's a bit of a hearsay thing. There's money problems involved or something. Take it with a grain of salt. I don't know. It's just what I picked up from some people from forums back in the days. But I don't know. But at some point, like all the artists just randomly left that label, found their own things. But yeah, definitely Noise Control was one of those big names. Also great, of course. Cyber does some cool stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Wasted Penguins, especially their older stuff, I will say, back when they were still a duo. Most
Wasted
controllers used to be a
Penguins.
duo.
At some
But-
point in time, I don't know what the fuck why, but Wasted Penguins followed me on Instagram.
Really?
I have
Oh, yeah,
no idea
no,
why. Yeah.
They will randomly do this. I think it's a marketing technique.
Oh,
They
well,
they just randomly follow people and then be like, hey, I exist,
yeah,
Uh,
well. That was
oh
funny.
shit, actually. Also, Memorex and Flow Forward. Flow Forward is actually one of my they're both friends, but I will say I think I'd be just as much of a fan if it wasn't for me knowing them, because their tunes go hard. Flow Forward is the new name of Memorize, who has also played Hardbox before, which I just I got him into that. I want to see some of my older friends join the VR space as well. I'm really trying. And Memorex, you gotta check out some of his tracks. They're on Theracodes Labs, which is like an experimental sub-label of Theracodes. Great stuff. Like, some of that stuff is actually so out of the box, and I way prefer it over most of the stuff that's coming out today. Which is wild when you consider that it's just some dude that I text on Telegram nowadays. Like hey, what's up? And then he'll send me
Dude,
like one of
Telegram.
fuck yeah. We got we got tired. Back then we had like this massive group chat on Facebook Messenger, and we got tired of Facebook, and then we just kind of agreed on Telegram for some reason. So like there's some group chat going on there. But yeah, oh god, well, okay, I really gotta stop myself at some point, right? But fuck,
No,
like
it's fine.
he actually sent me some of his IDs. Some of them still aren't released. Hell, if you go to my shelter set right now, there's an ID right in the middle that still isn't out. That doesn't even have a name. I don't even know if it'll ever be out. But I'm glad I had the honor of playing this one, because it goes hard as fuck. And also, speaking of which, fuck, dude, I managed to play Shelter. That was kind of a wild one. It was actually a bit of a goal of mine for a little bit there. Like, back when I just joined the scene, I was like, oh, that's a place I want to play at. That looks really fucking cool, right? And you see all these documentaries, and like that style just spoke to me. Their branding and everything, it's just so well executed. They've been going for a while. They had a bit, they have a bit of a history, but then also like they actually kept it going and they kept it interesting. Absolute shout outs to the crew running that place. It's wild seeing that as well.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah.
That's a cool
Yeah.
place. But yeah, no, I still play his IDs. Yeah, Memorex, definitely out there. Check it out. A bunch. There is some of Silence's old tracks he doesn't really produce anymore. At some point, he just randomly found Jesus. Like,
Oh.
that's another story in and for itself.
Interesting.
I got him at it on Facebook. You don't even want to see it, man. Went through a full ass fucking flat Earth arc for a while.
No,
Oh my god.
So it's wild as fuck.
that's
But his music, especially back when he actually used to make it, absolutely fucking beautiful. Yeah, there's probably so many that I forgot to mention. Audio Freak, I actually got to see him at Cubase, which is like now a dev festival at Airport Weze in Germany. Perukaville still hosts their festivals there. Somehow Qdance
Yeah.
decided to kill off that festival. It's super sad. It was 14 hours from
Yeah,
5
it's
in the
crazy.
evening to 7 in the morning, all
Wow.
throughout the night. 10
I
stages.
love that.
They would have it all. They would have the main stage, the raw stage, the extra raw stage,
Mhm.
a Millennium hardcore stage, an early hard self stage, a mainstream hardcore stage, a prospect crossbreed stage, right? They would have it all, man. And
I
like
heard
like
crazy stories about Cubase. Yeah.
Cubase, it'll forever be in my heart. I'm
I
not
wish I
sure if
could have
I'll ever
witnessed it.
forgive. I'll never forgive Qdance for actually ending Cubase, because I mean, maybe there's
Yeah.
more reasons to it than just wanting to end it, because they tried to resurrect it with Impact at the same place, same time, or like similar. I think at some point they just noticed it didn't scale well and stuff, and I don't know. Unfortunately, after the pandemic stopped, that festival was dead for good, and we'll never have that again. Unfortunately, I don't believe, but that was
And
great.
for that,
Fucking
we are
Gecko,
canceling that
Gecko.
video.
I saw Gecko at Cubase.
Oh, that's
Gecko
so
was an
cool.
absolute like.
Yes, I want
He
to
doesn't
see
produce.
him.
He isn't as much of a front runner in the hardstyle space. He like makes the occasional hard dance track, but then also all sorts of other experimental stuff. So he's a bit of a free mind, which I very much appreciate. But also, I'll go out there and say he's one of the most most skilled DJs out there, right? Because most hardstyle acts they aren't actually really all that good DJs, no offense. They kind of have their thing. They got really cool productions going. They do really cool pre-production. Their shows are hype as fuck. They give you all these light shows and everything, but then like they don't double quadruple a whole lot. They don't throw different shades of music in there. It's just like, hey, here's the music that we made. It's really cool. 30-minute live act. Here you go.
Yeah.
But and then Gecko will take you on the longest ass journey for 2 hours and make it so interesting and makes it in such an interesting way. God damn this! Oh god, you know what? I'm gonna stop it right here. I've probably forgot at least another million artists that I want to talk about.
I wanna kind of transition from, because it sort of relates back to variety, but also more towards our scene. Is like, what's something that like, and it can be outside of the hard dance like area. Like, what's something that you see not done enough that like could be done more, or like it would be cool if people did this, or a genre that you don't see enough that you think is, obscure but worth it.
I wouldn't put it on genres though. I love me some variety. So if you're, all I'm saying is, and I'm not putting shade onto anybody personally, I don't like seeing too much surface level stuff. When it's like, hey, I'm gonna play Q-Dance Top 40 and call it a day. It's like, all right. And then there's people that enjoy that. I don't want to take it from them. It's like, all right, this just ain't for me, I guess. Okay, you know what? Just scrap this whole thing, right? I can't tell anybody what to enjoy and whatnot. What I will say though, I want to see more experience-focused, dare I say raves, events, experiences. Just I don't know. It's like you go to a Hardbox and server room, you get like an actual show, right? I'm trying to have some sort of thing with that with Hivemind. I kind of tried to bring it to Crescendo. I'd love to see more collaboration in that effort. I'm pretty sure Derelict is also very much trying to get into that direction. They're also really trying hard, at least. Like they're very ambitious, and that's something I appreciate so much. Like not just doing the usual old, hey, let's pop in the link, let the DJ spin for an hour and not give a fuck. Like that's and that has its place. It doesn't have to vanish. But I really want to see more of that carefully crafted experience from start to finish type thing, right? That's what I appreciate so much about Shelter, so much about Sanctum, so much about Subsystem, so much that I joined that team. That they actually care enough to not make it just about, okay, so there's a DJ playing and they probably got an amount of followers or whatever. Like just no, like make a whole ass experience. I want to see that happen more. That would be so cool. For any clubs out there that are down to work on stuff like that, I like to think I'm ambitious.
You want to get to the third club, Merlz?
I'm right now still thinking, what can I do to Hivemind to improve it? Because like working for Subsystem and working for and being the creator of Hivemind, makes me think like, okay, what is it that I can still improve? Like just today I talked about this to people. It's like, yeah, like Hivemind, I guess that's like another rave place, and that Hivemind does like one or the other thing that's like that's I guess you could say stands out. I'm always trying to not do the same thing in many ways to put my own spins on it. As weird as they are, like 50-minute sets instead of 60. Yeah. I feel like it sounds stupid. I think that it makes like a little difference. Then I have these like little intros and like a little intro maybe sometimes, giving the whole thing like a damn theme, right? Like it's all bee and honey themes, right?
Yeah.
I feel that's something. But I feel like I could do so much more even. I have these many ideas, and then, I'm out here not, I don't even know how to use Unity properly. I really want to do more word creation stuff and maybe get in there. Maybe I can team up with people and do something like that at some point. I don't know. But I'm a very ambitious kind of guy, and the more ambitious stuff I see, the more I'm blown away, right? Like the usual events, they're just as cool. They're not supposed to go anywhere. I'd be very sad if they did. But I'd be very happy to see more of the stuff that really blows me away, or take part in things that really blow me away.
Exactly.
That's what I liked about Crescendo so much. I think that was one of those rare moments where we got together and delivered on something like that, and I'm incredibly proud of the entire team for pouring their heart and soul and literal blood, sweat, and tears into it. It was wonderful.
That's something that we talked about, like you said in that episode, was why Crescendo straight up had like almost a full cap for most of the entire event. And one of the reasons is because there's, like I was talking to a lot of people, there's nothing like it at the time. Like there was no events that were as crazy as Crescendo was for New Year's, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinions. It was definitely one of the best New Year's events I have ever seen. It was just crazy. So yeah, like you're definitely right. Creating that experience, you know, you could just go to any fucking rave scene or rave event, and it's like, okay, cool, I'm in a warehouse. I've seen this 10 million times over. But it's like maybe even little things that's like, for example, I think like Derelict, like the car. Like it's just something little, but it adds so much.
Really, yeah, it does.
And this is something that, shout out to Bass Legion, but I've been working with Dr. Nope closely on like the stuff for Bass Legion, and I'm like, I want the beginning, you know, to be something different. You know, I don't want it to just be another shoebox, because that's what they told me. They were going to create the world for me, but they didn't want it to be generic. So it's like, it's really challenged my thinking. And like I said, I do have to agree with you. Having new experiences.
And it's rough though. Because having anything but the shoebox, I mean, there's a reason why all the big places like Ghost Club and I guess the older Sanctum venue and Shelter and why all these places often have the shoeboxes, because it just works so well. If you cram more people into less space, it will feel more alive. It will look more alive. It will motivate people to dance more and be just as involved because everyone else is. It's a formula that works, and it doesn't have to be entirely different from that even, right? I'll be the last person to scream Shelter to whatever clone at anybody because of this sort of stuff. I feel like it's kind of stupid, because there's a reason this is a tried and tested formula. Maybe just put like a little twist onto it, you know?
Exactly.
Do a little twist. Try and think of a little addition you feel like you don't otherwise see. You know, make it something unique, something that stands out, even if it's just the smallest type of thing, right? Just, yeah. But all I'm saying is, I just want to throw that out there. It's not wrong having a bit of a shoebox, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Have you seen Static?
Nah.
Have you ever been to Static?
True,
so Gloomstone, right? Gloomstone has this venue called Static, and it's just some of the most obscure, heavy, intense, dark, like straight up noisy type of, like, I mean, I guess that's why it's called Static type music, right? You'll hear the most weird Bandcamp, free people supported this type shit, and I love it. And it's also just a straight up concrete box, but it also has a bit of a vibe because it's all very black and whitish. It's just this huge ass screen in the background. But just because they put the spin on it, this like scary, horrorish type vibe, and the music very much reflects it, makes it so unique and interesting, right? Like, it's the most definition of a shoebox, and it's so far away from being yet another shoebox. It's actually amazing.
Yeah.
You need a shoebox with a twist.
Exactly.
That's what you need.
Doesn't even have to be a shoebox. Sanctum Alta is just like a round old circle with a center stage.
Yeah.
It's wonderful, right? But yeah, you know, just take the usual formula, give it a little twist. Maybe do something entirely different, right? But all I'm saying is, don't feel bad for having a shoebox, because that shoebox might just be a really damn good shoebox.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, just do what you want, like when it comes to making a venue, but just, you know, put a bit of you into it, I guess, and make that.
Bit of personality.
It's cool to be unique. You don't have to be like any other venue, basically. Like,
oh yeah.
You know, that's definitely important. Transitioning a little bit, since we are a little bit over an hour now, I think we should start to wrap things up. So
I'm so sorry.
No, don't be.
Interesting.
I mean, if we had more time and you wanted to, we could
We
definitely
wouldn't have invited you.
Yeah. I would have no qualms with having like a 2-hour podcast where we just talk about the best stuff.
But you're gonna play a set, no?
Yeah, that's where I was
soon.
going to, was things coming up. What do you got coming up? Anything fun you want to tell people that you got coming up?
So as Sammy just mentioned, I'm going to play no, not me, my evil twin brother DJ Your Fat Fucking Uncle will play at Cientello Fest. It's a very serious VR chat fest event, which very serious set times and everything, right? It's
if the people complain about the set times in Hive Mind, you haven't seen this.
It's like
That's funny.
it's like 24 minutes, 37 minutes, 17 minutes. It's and then on the poster we put down how long a set duration is in Cientellos
Yes,
as a
I was
measurement.
calling with Keck, and we were talking about, "Yo, what the fuck does this number mean?" And then we were like, "Oh wait, oh my god, this is the set time in Cientellos."
Yeah, it's a set time in Cientellos. Be sure to check out Clouded Club, because me and Metal are Clouded and the entire scene is a circle jerk that's not allowing you to play the cool places.
Yeah.
And then of course Hive Mind is coming right up as well. One day prior, actually. It's in 2 days. It's gonna be once a month. Be sure to check out Hardbox and Server Room. I see how things go internally, and I know the team by heart. We all went on a whole vacation together, actually. At some point, that was very team building. And I see it also. I also see them pour everything into it, and you really gotta have seen it. It's something else, and I love that team to bits. And then there's so many places, right? All I'm saying is hop on VR chat, man. Like there's so many good places. I couldn't even start listing all of them. There's so many places that really try, right? There's, as I mentioned, Derelict, Resumu, Complex, Fishbowl, fucking VTVR. There's Club Elo just recently opened. There's Vanguard, fucking. Baptism has been a huge thing recently, and I've been pouring all the heart and soul into curating something and creating something really fucking cool. Lyoko, all the big names, of course. If you have never been to Ghost Club, my guy, are you missing out? Oh god, okay, I'm gonna stop right here. There's too many good things. The whole scene is so filled with creativity to the brim. Just come over here, check it out, and actually, worst case, let us know, or let me know if you found something cool.
Worst case,
if you find something cool, DM me.
For me, gig wise, on Friday I have a double booking. I'm playing at Territorium and I'm playing at the birthday party that I mentioned. After that, there's my university exams coming up, so I'll see how I'll do that with sets. But yeah, you have quite a cool weekend coming up.
Dude, I've recreated Crescendo this month. Last weekend, literally, last weekend I played at Hardbox, and then Friday, shout out to VTVR, I'm playing VTVR, and then the day after I'm playing Derelict. So this month has been pretty fun so far, and it's gonna be pretty fun, I think, for all of us. So yeah, is there anything else you want to say?
Not really. No. Was nice talking to you.
Thanks for having me. Thanks to the audience, the two people that are listening. Thank you so much for lending me your ear and letting me chew on it for a little bit. It was fun. To many more episodes.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool show. Thanks for having me. Yes.
Yeah,
no problem.
We're happy to have you. All right, then if that's that, then we will catch you guys in the next episode, and thank you for listening or watching on YouTube. Make sure to sub or follow the SoundCloud, and we'll catch you in VR. Peace.